So I was having a conversation with somebody a few weeks ago, and it dawned on me that they weren't having a conversation like I was having a conversation. They were in the heat of battle, completely in the heat of battle. They had, metaphorically drawn their sword, and as a result of that, they were no longer able to receive information from me. And that's the way it is a lot of times when we are having a conversation with people. We believe that we're doing battle because my goal is to make you see my perspective. Your goal is to make me see your perspective. But what happens in the interim is there's a disconnect of the ability to receive information. And that disconnect comes because we're so emotionally tied to our beliefs and our identity and our ego. So anything that challenges our belief system, we see as a challenge on us directly as an individual. So what happens is the other person stops being able to receive the information from us because we have not just challenged their belief system, but we've challenged ultimately who they are as a person. Because a lot of times the information that we're discussing in a conversational matter that tends to turn heated are things of a religious nature or a political nature, things of family values and how it comes to raising your family and so on and so forth. And these are things that are hot topic, hot button issues. That's why they have the old saying, don't discuss religion and politics. It's because religion and politics are so heated in each individual person that each individual person gets combative whenever their particular stance is challenged, because it's, immediately the shields come out, the swords come out. And you have to remember that about battle, not only do swords come out in battle, but also do shields. And when your shield comes out, you're no longer receiving information from that person, and they're no longer receiving information from you. And that's why, as you gain insight and wisdom into yourself, you begin to get a lot more comfortable with allowing people to have their opinion of the religion, the politics, and also of you on an individual level. I don't have to agree with you, and you don't have to agree with me. It's so funny that each religion teaches wisdom and compassion and love for humanity, but it's the very first thing that goes out the window when you have these conversations. It's the very first thing to get disregarded, discarded when we feel challenged. It's really ironic. It's ironic. And we can say that we are religious and we hold our head high and we say, I'm doing this for God and doing that for God. And when you look at a battle being fought on a battlefield, when that battle, before that battle is fought on the battlefield, both sides are praying to God for victory, right? Both sides are praying to God for victory and praying for their enemies to be slain. The only way that victory can truly be had is through wisdom and understanding and compassion for each other, and to realize that we're not actually needing to do battle with another person or even with their ideology. We just need to understand that we can love them where they are. And ultimately, that's what all the prophets taught. That's what all the prophets taught. That doesn't mean that, we should allow ourselves to be harmed physically or our property to be taken, things of that nature. But what it means is that we have to start to exercise a bit of the principles that these prophets and these wise men and these holy men have taught since the beginning of time. If you truly want progress, you can see the way that you're going about it now is not causing progress to come forward, right? If anything, you're regressing. You're causing more division. So if you really want progress, you have to weigh the measures that you have been using and see that they're just simply not working. They're just simply not working. And I don't have to be educated. You don't have to be educated to see this. This is something that each individual person can look at for themselves, and it's as clear as day. You can look at this and say, I'm causing this person to be defensive. And most of the time, what we tend to do is when we're in these discussions and our defenses come out, our shields come out, and our swords come out, instead of looking at our own behavior and measuring how we're saying things or even the content of the things that we're saying, what we tend to do instead is immediately point the finger to the other person and say, well, they said this, they said that. And they very well could have. They very well may be the culprit responsible for your argument to take place. But is that justification for you to immediately pull your sword out and swing back? Or should you approach it with wisdom and compassion? And it's not always possible, granted. We're human beings. We get overwhelmed by our emotions. But that's the whole reason that I talk so much recently about insight into who you really are. If you have that insight into who you really are, you'll see that you don't have to defend every single stance that you have, because who you are now is not who you were 10 years ago. And that's common sense. You may have lived life recklessly 10 years ago, and now you live life in a very conservative fashion. And you say, well, I've made improvements in myself. But that's not what we're looking at. We're not looking at whether it's an improvement or whether you've went downhill. What we're looking at and weighing and measuring and gauging by is, am I different than I was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, last year? And no matter who you are, I will guarantee you that there's some aspect of your life that you view differently, whether it's a political nature or a religious nature or the way you view another ethnicity, another race, right? Gender relations, the way you view your work and family life balance, the way you view all of these things. I will guarantee you that you view these things differently than you did 10 years ago or 5 years ago or a year ago. But you have to be willing to take that first step and look at yourself and say, okay, let me really have some introspection here. Let me really look into who I am now versus who I was then. 5 years ago, I was completely married to my career. I was completely devoted to working 70-hour weeks, 80-hour weeks, whatever the case is. And now I'm not. Now I see that I invested so much time, effort, and energy into this company that didn't care about me. So now I devote more of my time to my family, or trying to provide more of a balance to work and family life, or self-care, so on and so forth. But as it relates to just basic human beings, you have to understand that you're not going to change every mind that comes to you. You have to understand that it's okay to let other people be okay with where they are. If they're full of hatred for you based on your political ideology or your religious dogma or doctrine, then let them be the one who suffers from that. You're walking around carrying this weight of the world and convincing other people to view things as you view it. And in reality, it's okay to just let them be. You want other people to let you be. You want other people to let you be who you are and have your beliefs and have your thoughts and have your practices and have your, whatever. So shouldn't we afford another human being who breathes the same oxygen that we breathe, whose heart pumps like our heart pumps, who has family who love them the same as we have family that loves us, so on and so forth? Shouldn't we allow them the same respect as we expect from them? There's so many bridges that have been burnt down in life that it's not necessary to continue to burn them down. We've done enough of that already. Now is the time when we should be building bridges. Now it's not a you versus me. It's not a you versus me. It's a us versus the illusion of reality. We can open each other's eyes and be a guiding light for each other with wisdom and compassion rather than confrontation and wickedness. But you have to make a decision for yourself. Do I want to be wise and compassionate, or do I want to be wicked and corrupt? And it's really that simple. It's okay to let other people be who they are. It's okay for you to be who you are right now. I want you to know that it's really okay, because you will not be the same 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You will either have gone in a forward growth, positive momentum direction, or you will have regressed. But you will not be the same. You may have the same house. You may live in the same area. You may even drive the same car. You may even have the same hat that you had 5 years ago or whatever. But you will not have the same outlook on your life and on other people and on your family and on yourself that you have currently. Change is happening whether we care to recognize it while it's happening or not. It's still taking place. Oftentimes, the thing about change is it's so subtle. And we'll talk about that later. Be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button. Take these concepts with you.